Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're all having a lovely Friday afternoon. So on this channel last week, we covered Tesla having a hardware problem that they were addressing via software. And I was of the opinion that this is warranty evasion, and I talked about it in this video. Is this warranty evasion? The absolute TLDR of that video is that some of the older Model S cars were having an issue with the battery and the battery management system, whereby certain packs of cells or certain groups of cells, they would not be able to tell what the voltage is. You would wind up having it go in and out, in and out. So your car would say it has 240 miles available. Oh, now it has 250. Now it has 240. Now it has 250. And the reason this is screwed up is, as the gentleman who emailed me and told me about this story was saying, if you are telling your car charge to 250 miles, but it's blinking back and forth between 240, 250, 240, 50, now it's going to charge, turn off, charge, turn off, charge, turn off. It's a royal pain in the ass, particularly for a vehicle that costs as much as it did, particularly for a vehicle that was within warranty. This gentleman was within warranty at Tesla, and they would not replace his battery. So he finally said, fine, fuck it, I'll pay you. How much does it cost to replace the battery? They wouldn't even quote him a price to replace the battery. Now, companies do bad things, we talk about it on the channel. Companies do good things, we should also talk about it on the channel. He emailed me today, and I thought that I would share this with all of you. Hi, Lewis. I received an email from Tesla Service today stating that they have agreed to replace my Model S battery pack under warranty. I guess they saw your video. Thank you so much for highlighting the issue on your YouTube channel. I really appreciate your support and the work you do. If you ever come for a trip to Redacted, I would be delighted to meet you and express my thanks in person. Unfortunately, I have no desire to visit Redacted, so we're not going to do that. That's an inside joke because he asked for where he lives and his name to not be shared in the channel, which we respected in the prior video. And I think this is a good thing. Now, to be clear, I don't think that my YouTube video is the reason that this happened. Point is, Tesla did something that is actually good. And I think that, thank you. Truly, thank you. Thank you for listening to your customers, and thank you for covering something under warranty. Tesla was not the first, nor will they be the last automotive manufacturer to try and weasel out of covering an issue under warranty that they should be covering under warranty. And in my opinion, this is something that should be covered under warranty. You shouldn't just be sneaking in a software fix because the BMS module is broken. It's one thing if your battery is like reducing in range over time as a wear item. It's another when there is an actual physical, honest-to-God sensor on the battery that is not working. That should be covered under warranty. Just because you're able to evade using that sensor via software, which is going to artificially lower the range, that's not a fix. Because as time goes on, if that's failed, well, maybe other sensors will fail. Maybe that sensor failing once the actual capacity of the lithium cells goes down will be something I notice more, and it'll screw me even that much more when I'm out of warranty. And the idea of issuing a software fix to try to evade a hardware problem so that you don't have to replace something under warranty, kind of shitty. Now, to be clear, I don't think that they should have had to replace the entire battery pack. I would have been happy as a customer with them simply opening my battery, changing out the sensor that's bad, closing it back up. If he's getting an actual new battery, not somebody else's used lithium cells, but an actual honest-to-God new lithium-ion battery, that's really cool, and I think that Tesla should be commended for actually doing that. Hopefully they do more of that, and hopefully YouTube channels that actually do have real viewerships will hold their feet to the fire on stuff like this. And Rich Rebuilds does excellent work on that regard. He has called them out for virtually everything that they've done that's anti-consumer, and I'm more than happy to do the same here. Again, less viewership, but more than happy to do the same here, and I'm glad that it worked out well for this particular customer. Also, before we end today's video, there's another point that I'd like to engage with you all on that has nothing to do with Tesla or automobiles, but rather this channel in general. If you've been watching over the past few months, you probably noticed that this channel has went from getting, on certain videos, 100K views here, 300,000 there, 500,000 there, to several videos that get 8,000 views, 5,000 views, 1,200 views, and so on and so forth. Many people in the community page, on my Discord, and who have emailed me have said that they no longer get notifications, that they have no idea that my videos were actually there until they searched for my channel. Now, a lot of this is because my content has simply gotten somewhat old and boring, and it is what it is. I can blame an algorithm all I want, but there is a reason that an algorithm would recommend this content less. It is boring. I've been talking about the same thing for 8 years. There's only so much that people want to hear the same thing. There's also people that actually do find it interesting, that don't like that it's not in their recommended. So one of the things that I'm doing here is I'm actually starting to treat this YouTube channel the way every single other person on YouTube does. In the past, I've never said like, subscribe, ring the bell, any of that crap, because A, I never really had to, and B, I honestly never thought that this channel would have an outsized effect on the real world. The reality of it as it is now in 2022 is that the work that we're doing here on this YouTube channel, me just yelling into a camera, is actually able to have an outsized effect on the real world. As I say, the 501c3 that I started last year, that was from one billionaire dude that said, I like your YouTube videos, here's $1 million, have fun. The money that I raised from the 501c4 for political lobbying in favor of right to repair, there was one person that wired $100,000 into that. That is being used in states like Colorado to lobby for wheelchair right to repair so that people don't have to wait 2 to 3 months to be able to be mobile again. That's stuff that's being used to help in states like New York where right to repair bills were actually passed. It's being used to help farmers in states like Missouri and Minnesota if those bills pass in those states so that they can fix their own tractors. There is an honest-to-God effect on the real world that this channel has the capability to have. At this point, this is more than a hobby of mine. This is something that actually is able to affect real-world change. And for me to not play that game, for me to not have thumbnails that make you want to click, for me to not say, hey, like the video, subscribe, ring the bell, all that other stuff, it's not just about my channel at that point. It hurts my ability to have an effect on the real world. This is something that I noticed when I was asking people to call their assembly person and senators a few days before the vote happened on the right to repair bill, which passed in New York State. That video had something like 2,000 views after a day. Now, somebody else with a larger channel drew attention to it, and as a result, hundreds and hundreds of people called into the senators' offices and the assembly people's offices, and once that happened, you could see that the people voting on it went up immediately. There is a lot of potential for real-world positive change to occur. If I allow the channel to die because I don't want to play the game, because I don't like playing the game, that means that a lot of the positive real-world change I like to see in the world might die along with it. So if you see me saying, hey, like the video, if I'm doing a live stream and I interrupt it until more people engage, or if you see me using fancy thumbnails and shit like that, that's why. YouTube is never something that I've seen as a job or treated as a job. But if I can actually create positive real-world change through this channel, you bet your ass I'm more than happy to whore myself out to an algorithm, which is what you're going to see me do a lot more of into the future. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be taking random sponsors for stupid shit. That doesn't mean you're going to be hearing me shill VPNs or stupid Android games or shit like that. But it does mean I'm going to start telling you to hit that like button, subscribe, bell, and use fancy schmancy thumbnails and shit like that to get the algorithm to actually give a crap about the content that I produce. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.